Find out what's going on. Get involved. Change things from the inside. Make a difference. Take pride. Multicultural at its best. The Luisa Marshall Show. Coming up.
All news simply the best. Get involved. An initiative to memorialize the first Filipino in Canada, Benson Flores. It was Joseph Lopez, a broadcast journalist, who accidentally stumbled on a story about Benson Flores in a book at the library in Bowen Island. A supposedly long weekend escapade turned into a long journey of research for Joseph to find out more about the first Filipino immigrant. Then came community journalist Ted Alcuitas, who teamed up with Joseph Lopez to find out more information about the first Filipino settler that will make all Filipino immigrants proud. Together, they are working on a film documentary to launch anytime this year. On the show, Ted Alcuitas is raising awareness on how to help memorialize, giving recognition to Benson Flores. He was buried in an unmarked grave in Vancouver. Ted initiated a GoFundMe project to raise funds for a proper tombstone for the first recorded Filipino settler in Canada. Get ready to be involved. All these coming up.
Welcome to Relive the Music, a brand new one-of-a-kind show that takes the audience through music history, trivia, and memories of the 50s and 60s.
Hello, hello, hello. Yes, yes, yes. Time to make it right. We are raising awareness in the community to give honor to the first Filipino who settled in Canada. Hey, hey, hey! How are you, Ted?
Very good.
Wow.
The screen is covered by the
Ted,
I can hide behind it.
Ted, it's nice for you to join me today.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
I can't believe I discovered you again.
Yeah.
I discovered. Talking, I know that you have been actively engaging the community in your project, memorializing the first Filipino in Canada by making a short documentary film. So, Benson Flores was recorded to have settled in Canada in 1861.
1861, yeah.
1861, and I read that it was an accidental discovery. So please tell us all about it.
Yeah, as you probably know, the history of Filipinos in Canada is known to be starting in 1930s. The 1930s, professional doctors or whatever nurses cruised into Canada from the United States after their visa has expired. So that's basically the conventional wisdom that we were here in the 1930s. You read books and scholars, whatever. So until Joseph Lopez, so I don't know if this Joseph was the one who took over Irene Kerubin's show, right? Irene had this radio show. And so he was the one who took over the show, and he's an avid blogger. He's from the States. I still don't know him. I still don't have the full investigation of who he is. But anyway, so he is also a very active traveler. You know, he travels all over the world, and so apparently one day he overheard some people saying that Bowen Island is a beautiful place to see. So he decided to go there one afternoon, I think about 10 years ago. So his idea was to climb the Mount Gardner or whatever. There's a mountain in there. But he said, I wanted to know what's there in this island, you know. So he went to the library to read some books about it. And then he saw this book written by Irene Howard. The title was Bowen Island, 1890 to 19, whatever. So he was leafing through it, and on that particular page, he saw the picture of Benson Flores with with maybe 2 or 3 line caption. So that sort of, like just captivated his his thoughts, and any other person would have just dismissed it. Oh, so this is Benson Flores, blah blah blah. I'm going to go climb the mountain and forget about it. But he is a journalist, and he has extensive experience in journalism, in the broadcast journalism. So that discovery just sort of piqued his mind. Although I'm not very comfortable using the word discovery, because it's like the Philippines was discovered by Magellan. We were there already, right? Magellan just happened to, he was lost at sea. So in this case, Joseph was obsessed with Benson Flores. So because he ran a blog, so he wrote in this blog about what happened, and he talked to Irene Howard. In fact, he talked to her about a day before she died. She was already retired. He tracked him down here in Vancouver. So they talk about the book, what Irene Howard, because the book was not only about Benson Flores, about the Bowen Island, the early settlers there. So that so Joseph spent almost 10 years of his life on and off. He went to archives, he read the census. He's an investigative reporter. In some ways, if you read his article, I can't believe the amount of work, very diligent work, that I thought this, I was just checking today, I think this finding should be made into a book. If you read this 4-part article, it's only, I checked the number for 4,000 words, not enough for a book. But it is very detailed, meticulously researched, with attribution, why he think the date is 1861 and why this and that. So in his research, he found that Benson Flores, that's not his real name, it's Benjamin, his actual name, I think, but Benson has been used in other archival research that he had. So anyway, his discovery is that his research revealed that Benson Flores was, it says that he was a fisherman.
Mm-hmm.
Fisherman, he owned a float house in Snug Cove. And Lopez thinks he was only 15 years old when he arrived in Canada. How he arrived in Canada, he cannot find out. He speculated that he came.
So in other words, the blog of Joseph Lopez turned into a book.
No. I'm saying that he wrote about.
He wrote about it, so that's
it's
the
a 4-part
book.
series.
Oh, okay. All right.
Originally came out on the Canadian Filipino net.
Oh, okay, that's good.
And so when he wrote something about this in his blog, I don't know him too, personally. I know Irene. And so I called Irene one time. I said, who is this Joseph Lopez? Can you give me his telephone number? So she gave me the number. So I talked to him and I said, I'm very interested in your blog and I'm following it. So in the course of, during this time, I don't know how I did it. I was reading some church bulletin from Bowen Island. And then it says there was a church bulletin and it mentions some Filipinos. Some Filipinos. So I sent it to Joseph and said, Joseph, might be interested in this. There was more.
So Joseph was
only
just...
Benson Flores.
Okay. So you mean to say that Joseph was just there? Yeah, I want to talk to Joseph too. You mean to say that Joseph went to Bowen Island just to visit?
Yeah, when he discovered the book.
Oh, when he discovered the book. Oh.
Yeah, he was out there to do a hike of the Mount Rainier or whatever. And so before doing that, he thought he should, like if there's any pamphlet, what is it to see in this island? So that's what led him to the library and discovered Irene's book.
Awesome.
And, he was just probably leafing through it. And he saw this picture of, this looks like Filipino or something, so he read about it.
There's more coming up. Don't go away.
Welcome to Relive the Music, a brand new one-of-a-kind show that takes the audience through music history, trivia, and memories of the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, so how many Filipinos were there?
At that time, because further research and as I said, I discovered a church bulletin and there were about maybe less than 10 Filipinos there. So Benson Flores was one of them, and he was the early settlers knew him. He operated apparently the first boat rental there in the Bowen Island, because the island was starting to be getting to be a tourist spot at the time. From people from Vancouver would go there, and so Benson Flores owned a float house.
A float house.
Float house, there's in the picture there in the book. You could see the float house that he owned. And I think also he owned some land there. It's not very clear. He was farming, but basically his livelihood was fishing. So some Bowen residents said he was very nice. He would catch crabs, and then he would go around the shore and leave some sack of crab in front of your house, something like that. So he owned also a boat rental or something in research, Lopez research. Some of these things came out. But the most mysterious thing is he died a bachelor with no relatives. That's the mystery, So Joseph was able to obtain his will. He made a will, and in fact I just reviewed it. So he did not leave an executor in the will. So he left it blank. So some lawyer, I think I can't remember, applied to the court to administer his assets, because he owned a boat. He played the concertina. I don't know what the concertina is. I have to research that. He was a musically minded person. So he was, although he was just a farmer, sometimes we say, oh, just a farmer, fisherman, whatever. But I think he was an intellectual in some ways, So he left his possessions in his will. He left it to some people, about 3 or 4 people. He left his concertina to so and so. He left his boat to so and so.
Wow. So Mr. Flores didn't have any family.
In Philadelphia, he was, he died. He died in. Although he lived in Bowen Island, when he got sick, he was in the Vancouver General Hospital. He died in there in April 11, 1929.
Wow.
I think that time was age 83.
Wow.
I don't know, some.
Wow. So Mr. Flores was buried in an unmarked grave in the Vancouver cemetery. Do you have any information about the cemetery? Where is this cemetery?
Yeah, that's an interesting question because, so Joseph, when he was researching it, he discovered that he was because what happened is that Mr. Flores, his assets, his liability there, I think I computed at $9. He was short $9 in his assets. So he was declared insolvent. No? And what boggles my mind until now is why did they not put a wooden cross there to mark his grave? So Joseph Lopez, in his continuous research, he called the Vancouver Cemetery and said, because you could research the names of people who are buried in the cemetery. There's a record for that. So, the cemetery said, yeah, there's a Benson Flores buried here, but no marker. So Joseph said, I want to visit that grave. And so the cemetery people are very nice. Before Joseph arrived, they put a steel marker to mark his grave with a yellow flag so that Joseph, I think he was driven to the site. It's just near 31st and 33rd or something.
Okay, so this is in Vancouver.
Vancouver. In Vancouver. So, you can imagine, nobody knew who is this under the ground.
That's true. So why, Ted, why is this project important to future generations of Filipinos in Canada?
Well, at the time I was thinking of this, it also was the height of the publicity about unmarked graves, the residential school. At that time, I was taking a course, Simon Fraser University course called Community Capacity Building. It was just an online course, 6 months course. I was taking that, and although I have also been like Joseph, I was also obsessed with Benson Flores. I followed in the media footprint about him, what were written about him through Joseph's research. And then Buto Buto, including I went to see it in Buto Buto.
And Buto Buto was a play. It was an original play with an all Southeast Asian cast in crew on how the first Filipinos settled in Canada in the 19th century. Yeah. So that play ran in 2022. That was during the pandemic.
Huh?
That was during the pandemic. It was running, right? Or it was at the tail end of the pandemic.
Yeah, I think so. But wow. It was, it was full house.
Wow. So I was going to ask you how it went, but that's amazing. It was full house.
Just because, we're very high caliber professional theater people, Filipinos, like Alvin Valentino was involved there, Dennis Gopa, of course, Leonora Angeles, the professor at UBC, they all collaborated and researched it, and some other Filipino artists and some.
Yeah, it's too bad I missed that one. I think 2022 we were gone. Like we all of a sudden we were just doing all our shows because we were stalled for so long because of COVID. So that was the play. Oh, I wish I
So that's part of the how when Joseph Lopez discovered Benson Flores, how it, Filipinos got interested. They decided to make a play. They wrote about it.
That's very nice. So right
I
after that
think-
play, you are now involved in making an awareness to, for a 20-minute documentary is also set to be launched this month or April. Is it this month?
Our documentary.
Documentary.
We're still trying to finish it by April, but I don't know.
It's not finished yet.
Sometimes.
So
what my idea was, I was thinking of to apply for because it was a student competition in the ECFU course that so I thought that this Benson Flores is very mysterious. Nobody knew him. How could that be? Although there are several Floreses buried in.
Yes.
But you need a lot of resources to really go deeper, and then I don't think Joseph had the capacity to.
That will be wow. That's going back.
I was thinking that.
When did he die? When did
1929 and
59? That would go
April
back.
13. No, he died April 11.
Wow.
April 11.
Wow.
So
Anyway,
so I was thinking of this. I thought maybe YouTube. I'm very naive, not like you that about filming or whatever. So I thought maybe I could take YouTube, blah blah blah, and then put it in YouTube. And in the Philippines, somebody in Panay or wherever will say, "Oh, this is my Lolo Benson" or something. Who knows, right?
You never know.
Yeah,
You just have to make an awareness.
Yeah, because the print media is not as people will not read everything, but if they see your image there, the video, they just that looks that's my Lolo. This is just my crazy thinking. So I think maybe I should do a documentary.
You should.
Yeah,
so
so that's what my idea was. So I thought that just a cell phone, blah blah blah. So that was my project in this ECFU student competition. I applied for it. And
it actually it already won the Simon Fraser University Student Community Engagement Competition.
Yeah, the grand
in
prize.
2022. That's awesome. So this documentary is all about how Joseph Lopez accidentally discovered in a book in Bowen Island about the first Filipino.
Yeah, but the title of it, the main idea was to memorialize it. The filming is just part of the memorialization.
That's right.
The significant part is to place tombstone.
How much is it
right now?
Nowadays,
it cost us $5,000.
Oh, is it 5,000 for the tombstone right now?
Initially, my original was just to make it very simple, just a flat, a flat marker. But it evolved into maybe we should have a stand-up marker that's more visible or something.
So a simple one will be good.
Yeah.
So where will is there like a link where people can go to donate money for the tombstone?
Yeah, there's a GoFundMe link.
Now this is amazing, Ted.
Oh yeah, the response was amazing. I didn't.
Yeah.
I was pressed.
No, really.
I was pressed for time because I don't have enough funds. In fact, so I said, "How will we pay this?" So it's only me and Joseph Lopez that's working on it.
All you want, you and Joseph, is just to have a very simple, very simple tombstone with his name on it. Yeah. And hopefully we get some relatives and some people who knows, wow, it touches me, Benson Flores, he didn't have any family.
Any relatives,
No relatives here in Canada. But I'm pretty sure that he came from the Philippines, he just didn't. And I'm really, really curious on why he came here in the first place. Thank you for engaging the community on this about Benson Flores.
So we'll ask them to continue.
You might be able to find something, information from the Philippines that they're actually relatives of Benson.
Hopefully.
Mr. Flores, yes. So now that you're out of your retirement,
What do you mean? What do you mean?
you're out of your retirement because you are just so actively doing this, Ted. So I hope there will be more and more and more things coming up, and I'm really excited that you're.
I always tell myself this is the last. I want to retire.
No, yeah. Don't say that this is the last. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. You'll never know. But anyway, Ted, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us on the show. I mean, this is very, very inspiring. And hope I can get to talk to Joseph one of these days. And but in the meantime, let's keep this going. And first of all, the name of Benson Flores on the tombstone. So let's do it. Thank you. Thank you, Ted.
Thank you, Luisa, for having me.
Welcome to Relive the Music, a brand new one-of-a-kind show that takes the audience through music history, trivia, and memories of the 50s and 60s.
Hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for watching. Please don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. Always be kind. Let's stop bullies. Stay safe, everyone. See you next week for more inspiration. Mwah.